Hello friends and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be learning about the anatomy of the parotid gland. Parotid gland is the largest of the salivary glands. It is situated below the external acoustic meatus between the ramus of the mandible and the sternocleidomastoid. The gland overlaps these structures. Anteriorly, the gland also overlaps the masseter muscle. Parotid capsule. The investing layer of the deep cervical fascia forms a capsule for the gland. The fascia splits between the angle of the mandible and the mastoid process to enclose the gland. The superficial lamina is thick and adherent to the gland and is attached above to the zygomatic arch. The deep lamina is thin and is attached to the styloid process, the mandible and the tympanic plate. A portion of the deep lamina extending between the styloid process and the mandible is thickened to form the stylomandibular ligament, which separates the parotid gland from the submandibular salivary gland. External features. The gland resembles a three-sided pyramid. The apex of the pyramid is directed downwards. The gland has four surfaces, that is superior surface, which is the base of the pyramid, then superficial surface, anteromedial and posteromedial surfaces. The surfaces are separated by three borders, that is the anterior border, posterior border and the medial border. Next is the relations. The apex overlaps the posterior belly of the digastric and the adjoining part of the carotid triangle. The cervical branch of the facial nerve and the two divisions of the retromandibular vein emerge through it. The superior surface or the base forms the upper end of the gland, which is small and concave. It is related to the cartilaginous part of the external acoustic meatus, the posterior surface of the temporomandibular joint, the superficial temporal vessels, and the auriculotemporal nerve. Then surface. The superficial surface is the largest of the four surfaces. It is covered with skin, superficial fascia containing the anterior branches of the greater auricular nerve, the preauricular or superficial parotid lymph nodes, and the posterior fibers of the platysma and rhizorius. The parotid fascia, which is thick and adherent to the gland, and a few deep parotid lymph nodes embedded in the gland. The anteromedial surface is grooved by the posterior border of the ramus of the mandible. It is related to the masseter, the lateral surface of the temporomandibular joint, the posterior border of the ramus of the mandible, the medial pterygoid, and the emerging branches of the facial nerve. The posteromedial surface is molded to the mastoid and the styloid processes and the structures attached to it. It is related to the mastoid process, the styloid process. The external carotid artery enters the gland through this surface and the internal carotid artery lies deep to the styloid process. Coming to the borders. The anterior border separates the superficial surface from the anteromedial surface. It extends from the anterior part of the superior surface to the apex. The following structures emerge at this border, that is the parotid duct, most of the terminal branches of the facial nerve, and the transverse facial vessels. In addition, the accessory parotid gland lies on the parotid duct close to this border. The posterior border separates the superficial surface from the posteromedial surface. It overlaps the sternocleidomastoid. The medial edge or border separates the anteromedial surface from the posteromedial surface. It is related to the lateral wall of the pharynx. Next is the structures within the parotid gland. From the medial to the lateral side, these are as follows. That is, first is the arteries. The external carotid artery enters the gland through its posteromedial surface. The maxillary artery leaves the gland through its anteromedial surface. The superficial temporal artery gives transverse facial artery and emerges at the anterior part of the superior surface. Next is the veins. The retromandibular vein is formed within the gland by the union of the superficial temporal and maxillary veins. In the lower part of the gland, the vein divides into anterior and posterior divisions which emerge close to the apex of the gland. Next is the nerves. The facial nerve enters the gland through the upper part of its posteromedial surface and divides into its terminal branches within the gland. The branches leave the gland through its anteromedial surface and appear on the surface. Next is the blood supply. The blood supply to the parotid gland is mainly by the external carotid artery and its branches that are raised near the gland. The veins drains into the external jugular vein. Nerve supply. The parasympathetic nerves are secretomotor. They reach the gland through the auriculotemporal nerve. The preganglionic fibers begin in the inferior salivatory nucleus and pass through the glossopharyngeal nerve and relay in the otic ganglion. The postganglionic fibers pass through the auriculotemporal nerve and reach the gland. The sympathetic nerves are vasomotor and are derived from the plexus around the external carotid artery. Sensory nerves to the gland come from the auriculotemporal nerve, but the parotid fascia is innervated by the sensory fibers of greater auricular nerve. Lymphatic drainage. The lymph drains first to the parotid nodes and from there to the upper deep cervical nodes. The parotid lymph nodes lie partly in the superficial fascia and partly deep to the deep fascia over the parotid gland. They drain the temple, the side of the scalp, the lateral surface of the auricle, the external acoustic meatus, the medulla, the parotid gland, parts of the eyelid and the orbit. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching this video.